All right, 3, 2, 1, stay goal. All right, so this is basically like the little two-part for today, which is how to make progress. How to make progress from the goal that you've set. Now, of course, if you don't know how to set a goal to like the extent that'll let you really get deep in there and get really involved with your goal, I suggest you check out the other video I did, which is right underneath this one. But if it's like way in the future, just search up goals. I think that's what it's titled. If not, it'll be in a playlist somewhere. But anyways, how to make progress towards your goal. Now, in that video, I mentioned the whole car thing, right? That's going to play a role in this. And I don't have any notes with me yet. I don't think the video's that big yet. Like, for the most part, I can do this without notes. But if I do, like, bring notes and stuff, I will do that too. But my notes can get really involved and stuff. So I don't want to spend the whole video, you know, doing this and that. I want to make sure I make eye contact with you for a multitude of different reasons. But if you want to make consistent progress, you have to develop consistent habits and do consistent things. Now, me personally, I am a natural born procrastinator. I am a master at procrastinating. That is my biggest thing, my biggest debuff that I have to turn into a buff. Think of those survival games, those survival management games, when the characters get too stressed out, they have like a panic attack or they enter a catatonic state and boom, one of their strength traits turns into a negative trait. Sheltered will show you that if you get to that point. Even in other survival games, you know, other management games, you know, if your character gets too stressed or they get in a certain situation, certain strengths they have turn into weaknesses, right? It's kind of like that with your goals. You want to make sure that when you set your goals, that you make things that you're going to be more inclined to follow, which basically means take small steps, something that's easy. And the longer you do it, the more invested you're going to get, which means that you're more likely to complete the tougher parts of finishing your goal. So start small, work your way up to being big. That's my problem. I start big and then I shrink. I either burn myself out, right? Or I start off so big that there's no end in sight, right? And that's something that I have to work on, you know? I'm learning as you all are learning, right? I'm definitely not some know-it-all. I don't have all the answers. All I have is basically clues on some things. Now, of course, I have really good clues on other things, but I have things that I'm good in and things that I'm bad at, you know, and procrastination is one of those things that reigns supreme over me a lot of the times. The best way to beat procrastination is, instead of talking or telling yourself stuff out loud or in your head, turn that energy into actual action. So instead of discussing it with yourself in the sense of like you're basically like laying out the plan or you're thinking out loud, right? Take that same time and that same energy and just sit down and do it. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with planning. There's nothing wrong with making sure you cover all your corners first. That's how you avoid rough edges. That's how you avoid certain things that can come up later. But that should not be what you're doing 90% of the time. You know, in the beginning, it should be 90%. But then as time progresses, it should shrink. 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%, 40%. And eventually it becomes 20%. You just plan, then do. Plan, then do. You develop the habit where you think of something, you write it out, and then boom, there you go. You start and you work towards it. It saves you time and it saves you effort and it saves you basically leaving things incomplete. Because once things get really hard and you don't have the like willpower or you don't have the resolve to keep pushing through, or if you take too much like work, right? You work too hard for too long and you burn yourself out. Now you're gonna be burnt out for a while. And that's just time that's just going away. Because I'll tell you, you do not want to do something while you don't want to do it in certain extents. If you know in your head that you don't want to do it, you just absolutely don't want to do it today, you probably shouldn't. Because the progress you make or the results that you get, it could taint them. I'll use drawing as a great example. If you don't feel like drawing today, do not force yourself to draw. As an artist, you need to be inspired and you need to be motivated. It's not even just with drawing, any sort of media that's associated with art. It can even be music. If you don't feel like doing that day, your song is gonna be doo-doo. Dookie doo-doo cheeks. Because you weren't motivated, you weren't inspired, and you didn't have that fire. Versus when you just wake up one day, you're like, God dang it, I'm gonna make a song that's gonna be good, and then it's the best song you ever made. That's what I'm saying with that. It's not anything wrong to take breaks. It's healthy to. And eventually you'll get in a position where you can plan your breaks. And breaks don't put you at a detriment or they don't take away from you, because you set everything up to where you aren't losing progress, or if you do lose possible progress, it's very minimal. It's similar to like minimizing damages. You know, if you're in like a bad situation and you gotta kind of like move a certain way to avoid the worst possible outcome, right? I don't want you all working 24/7. What kind of life is that? That's not enjoyable. Even if you do enjoy it, I can tell you there are some things out there that you may enjoy more. So, in making progress with your goal, you want to start small. Go, like easy goals to achieve so you can get those points. You know what it's like to finish a goal. And then as that gets easy, step it up. Instead of small size goals, now it's medium size goals or small medium. You go at your own pace. Everyone's pace is different. Some people are workaholics, which isn't bad, but some people can just sit down and fill out like 500 papers in like a day. They wake up at 5 in the morning and they keep going until 5 in the evening, and they filled out 500 forms or something, right? Or 1,000 forms. Like they did all the paperwork. They did like a month or months worth of paperwork in like a day. Crazy stuff like that. Listen, everyone's built different. Everyone has different capabilities. Everyone has their own pace, their own tempo, their own vibration, frequency, all that stuff, their own energy. You got to find yours. And that can only come from experimentation. You know your limits. You know when you're bull. You know when you're BSing yourself. You know when you can go a little further, but you're starting to get a little lazy. You don't feel like going any further. You know, versus when you genuinely know, okay, I actually can't keep going like this or else I'm actually going to burn out. That's when you take a break from it. Walk away from it. That is the number one thing that you should learn. Anything in life, you need to know when to walk away from it. It can save you from getting out of trouble. It can save you from getting your time wasted. It can save you from taken from you. It can save you from so much stuff to have the strength to walk away. It can save you from so much stress. If that work is overloading, walk away from it and come back to it later. You have to have the discipline to walk away. You need to have the willpower to walk away, but the discipline to come back. Whatever timely means to you, it's up to you. I can't force you to do any of these things. I can't force you to be consistent in your goal. I can't force you to make progress in your goal. You have to do that. All I can really do is just say the stuff I'm saying now, and then whoever it reaches, it reaches. But if you want to make progress towards a goal, that's what you do. You start small. You start with easy stuff that can be completed in a very short amount of time. And then you start going bigger and bigger and bigger. Completing the stuff and completing things that you start, which will let you do the bigger things. And the next thing you know, it's just routine to complete stuff, to make strides. You aren't tiptoeing around or taking small little steps forward. You're taking strides now. then leaps, then jumps. Jumps, then leaps. So a car. What type of gas does this goal take to fill up the tank? How many miles are you going to need to put on the car to get it to the destination you want to get it to? What type of car do you need for this goal? If you read between the lines, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you want to be a professional skier, for example, you need the right skis for you. That's basically the type of car. That's the gas. The destination. Say it's a competition coming up in like 2 years. How many miles are you gonna have to put on to be formidable competition? I know that's not good for a car because typically more miles on a car takes away its value, but what do cars do? They take you from point A to point B. That's just the give and take coming into effect. That's all I got for you. Take what you need, leave what you don't. Turn to gold.